Okay, you guys, I'm back. I'm going to flip this around a little bit. I want to start with question number 3. And it says the width of a rectangle is 2 meters less than the length. The area is 48 meters. Find the dimensions. Okay, so first of all, I'm putting on my glasses so I can see. Okay, so first of all, you guys, let me go back to 3. This is a rectangle. Okay, so remember what I told you guys about sometimes you need to draw things out. So you have a rectangle right here. And so the first thing you need to do is draw out your rectangle. And then it's telling you that the rectangle is 2 meters less than the length. And the area is 48 meters. Find the dimensions. Okay, now, so we have a rectangle right here. I drew out the rectangle. I did this ahead of time so I wouldn't be fumbling on this video. Okay, so here you have your rectangle. The width is X, and it says the length is 2 meters less than X. So for length, I put X minus 2. Okay, now, they told us that the area was 48. So we know the area is equal to length times width. Okay, so if the width if the length is X minus 2, I put that in parentheses. So you have X minus 2, and then your width is X. So that's times X is equal to 48. So again, it's length times width is the area. So the length is X minus 2. Our width is X. Okay, and so our area is 48. So from there, we can distribute. So we have X times X. It doesn't matter if you put the X in the front or behind. Okay, so basically you're taking this X and you're multiplying it by each of those terms. So you have X times X, which is X squared. You have X times negative 2, which is negative 2X. So that's equal to 48. Okay, so then what you can do is you can bring this 48 over. So you'll have your A, your B, and your C. Okay, so this is a positive 48. When you bring it over, it becomes a negative 48. Okay, so now we have X squared minus 2X minus 48 is equal to 0. Now, so basically what I just did is I help you guys set that up. Now, it is up to you how you choose to solve this. Do you want to solve it by the quadratic formula, by selecting your A, your B, and your C? Can you factor it by, can you solve it by factoring? And what I mean by factoring, can you find two numbers that when you multiply them, they give you negative 48, but when you add or subtract, they give you negative 2? Okay. Or you don't need completing the square on this. If you wanted to, you can, but that's kind of going out the way for this particular problem. So anyway, I helped you guys set that one up. And I just want to remind you, you have the option of either doing quadratic formula. Okay, so you can do the quadratic formula on this. That's why I like to have this set up ahead of time, because I'm trying to write and hold my camera at the same time. So you have quadratic formula, and then you have factoring. If you can factor, okay? All problems cannot be factored, okay? And then you can have completing the square, okay? This particular one you can't do by square roots because you're not missing your B. See, square roots, you only do that when you're missing the B term. Remember, we're talking about X squared plus BX plus C is equal to 0. So that's completing the square. Okay, so we got that. Now, the next problem, which is very similar. Actually, that one, I don't know. I was going to say may have been a little bit more complicated, but maybe it's not. So for number 4, you have the dimensions of a rectangular garden were 4 meters by 5. Okay, so we want to underline rectangular garden, 4 meters by 5. That's important. Each dimension was increased by the same amount. That's important because something was increased. That means you added on to it. The garden then had an area, that's important, of 56 meters. Find the dimensions of the new garden. Okay, let X be the amount of the increase. Okay, so over here to where I begin to set that problem up, we're talking about our first garden. The dimensions was a 4 by 5. They told us that the area of it, the garden, let's see, each dimension was increased by the garden then had, okay, so yes, so it's a 4 by 5, and then the garden increased by X on each side. It says that each dimension was increased by the same amount. So dimension means the length times the width. Okay, so we can call this our length here. We can call this our width. DGTH. Okay, so here we have our length, we have our width. So they both were increased by X. So that's going to be 5 plus X, the quantity of 5 plus X, the quantity of 4 plus X. And then the area is length times width. So again, our L, our length is here, our width is here. So you're multiplying the length times the width. It really doesn't matter. I kind of got them backwards. And you notice how, okay, so I put 5 plus X, and then up here I just turned it around, X plus 5. Okay, and then it doesn't matter. You can add. It's cumulative, so you can add in the same order. So this is our length. That's our width. Length times width is equal to the area, which is 56. Now remember, it says that the garden then had an area of 56. So that means the second garden, the one that had the increase, that's the one with the area of the 56. Okay, so with that in mind, we have our length times our width, and now we can distribute. So we're doing X times X. This is distributing here, the FOIL method, for those of you who remember that, but it doesn't matter whether you use that name or not. The process is the same. So X times X is X squared. X times 5 is 5X. I have this out of order a little bit. Let me do it over here. So X times X is X squared. So we can say X squared. Okay. X times 5 is 5X. Again, I'm trying to write and hold my phone at the same time. 4 times X is 4X. And then, let's see, and then we have, I'm missing, okay, so we have, and then 4 times 5 is 20. So that's 20. And there's equal to 56. So when you add the 5 and the 4, that'll end up being 9X. Sorry, my camera's over. So that's X squared plus 9X plus 20 is equal to 56. So now again, we want a quadratic AX plus BX plus CX form. So we're going to move the negative 56 over here. So you're subtracting 56 from both sides. So now you have X squared plus 9X minus 36 is equal to 0. Okay. So now this again is in the quadratic format, which is A X squared plus BX plus C is equal to 0. Again, I'm not going to do this for you. You can decide how you're going to do it. If you want to do quadratic formula to solve for X, do you want to do factoring for solve for X, or do you want to do completeness square to solve for X? So that's your choice. Now, number 5 is very similar. The dimensions of a rectangular garden was a 3 by 10. When both dimensions were increased by equal amounts, the area of the garden doubled. Find the dimensions of the new garden. Now, it's very important that you pay attention to these key words. So basically, the regular garden was a 3 by 10. So I drew a 3 by 10 garden here, rectangle. It says, let's see, when both dimensions were increased by equal amounts, the area of the garden doubled. So that means that, okay, so they both increased by the same amount. So I add X onto each, the length and the width. So this is my length. This is my width. Okay, so I added 10 onto each of them because and then it says that the area doubled. Okay, so when it says the area doubled, well, what was the area to begin with? Good question. So the rectangle at first was a 3 by 10. So 3 times 10, area is equal to 3 times 10, which is 30. Okay, so that's 30. So the area before the garden increase was 30. So then once the increase, you have 2 times 30, which is 60. So that means that the area of this new garden is going to end up being 60. Whew, hallelujah. So with that in mind, we can go ahead and distribute. So we have x times x, which is x squared, x times 3, which is 3x, 10 times x, which is 10x, and then you have 10 times 3. Now remember, you're just taking this term and you're multiplying it by each of the other terms. So now you have x squared, which is equal to 3x plus 10x, which is 13x plus 30 is equal to 60. So then we subtract 60 from each side. 30 minus 60 is a negative 30. So this is our new equation. So you have x squared plus 13x minus 30 equals 0. So from there, you can decide again how you want to solve that. Now, I can tell you this. For this particular problem, you would not be able to do completing the square because the middle term has to be even to do completing the square. So you can do either quadratic formula, and actually for this one, you can do factoring. Okay, you can actually do factoring for this one. This middle, I'm looking here for this middle number. This is trying to make sure our numbers are correct and our signs are correct. When you move this over, that's a negative 30. So 3 times 10 is 30. And when you add the 2, you get 13. Because that's a negative, you wouldn't even be able to factor this because this is a negative. So that's a negative, this is a positive. So 3 and 10, in other words, one of them have to be negative. And there's no way with 3 and 10 you can get 13. Anyway, I don't want to confuse you guys. The bottom line is, for this particular one, you need to do either quadratic, you need to do quadratic formula. That it looks like that's the only thing you can do for this one. So we're going to put down quadratic formula. Okay. So I hope that this video was helpful to you guys. Let me turn my phone. I'm not really all that agile with doing videos and everything, but I definitely wanted to help you guys out, and I hope that this would be a help to you. So you can respond back to me, let me know how it works. And also I can add on, I thought about it earlier today, I may need to add a couple clips on, just some review clips for those of you who may be struggling with doing quadratic formulas or completing a square, taking square roots. That really, we literally just came through all of that. We came through it, spent a lot of time on it, and I just quizzed you guys on it. But just in case you're struggling, I will give you some additional links. I don't want to inundate you guys with all these emails. I know you have all these different classes and everything that you're doing. I want to provide you with the resources that you need the best that I can. I do want you guys to make sure, here, let me turn this around. Oh, wait a minute. What am I doing? I'm trying to rotate my camera. Okay, I can't rotate it because, okay. But anyway, I do want you guys to please make sure that you are keeping up with the assignments the best as you can. You pretty much have all week. I mean, what I did was I assigned you the material based off of what we were doing for a particular day. So, let's see. Yeah. So whatever we were covering for, like if you were to be in class, what you would actually be covering for that day, and the assignment that went along with it. And usually on Friday for the classes that would be on an A or B day, I just kept it where it's the same assignment, and I just tell you to finish up if you didn't finish. Now, in regards to you guys turning your work, I want you to remember, please keep everything very organized. Make sure you put the date that it was assigned, which it is in RimWeb, plus it is in the emails. So make sure that you have that date on there, that you're putting the title on there as well. You're keeping everything organized. You're keeping it neat. It's not sloppy. Um, because, we're going over this. This is real work, you guys. Actually, if we were in class, we would be going over the same lessons. We would need to be doing the same lessons. And in a sense, even though things have not, the situation itself is not good, God has given us more time to go more in depth into certain content and subject matter. So we're gonna make this work. We're gonna make it work. I believe that you guys can do it. You stay focused, and if you have any questions, you just email me. Feel free to email me. I'm working on a Google YouTube line that you guys can contact me if necessary. Yeah, so we're just going to go from there. I hope that this was helpful. Again, keep all of your everything organized. Every assignment that I give you, make sure that you're completing those assignments. You're getting assistance with those assignments. You're reaching out to me with those assignments. If someone else is helping you, that's good too. But we want to make sure that you're getting this content. Okay, thank you. I miss you guys, but I know that you are safe and things hopefully are going well for you. And I'm proud of you guys for stepping up to the challenge. Okay, talk to you guys later. God bless. Bye bye.